The end of the day, almost. So first I'd like to give you a bit of perspective on this second half of the afternoon. I'll then close quickly and we'll have time for further Q&A. The healthcare presentation gave you a view of the size of the opportunity. And I think the key right now for us and our focus around EHR is land grab. 10% of the doctors use it today, and it's going to be close to 100% in 5 years. So land grab is very important. That's our focus, and we're investing in providing resources to that team so that they can get that land grab done. Behind that, the whole notion of connected services in this sector is huge, and the transfer of information throughout that ecosystem is very, very critical. Somebody told me that in North America, 17% of the total GDP is in healthcare. And we in Europe don't think that way because a lot of the healthcare system is in the hands of the governments and therefore not part of the total economy. 17% of GDP, it's a huge sector for us. So the key today is land grab. In the upper mid-market, it's a very large segment of the ERP industry. The upper mid-market segment in of itself is as large as a segment as our total SMB industry. But of course, it's a small part of our revenue. So in terms of potential, it's quite huge. So the key there is, what is our competitive advantage? What makes it that Sage thinks it can succeed there? And I think Christophe has illustrated that pretty well through one of the questions, by the way, which is the strengths of our customer base, of our lower mid-market SMB customer base. We have millions of customers. Of course, not many of them are going to need an upper mid-market solution. But if only 1% of them, 0.5% of them needed an upper mid-market solution, Christophe Letellier would be delighted and very happy. So the strengths of our customer base is a key to our competitive advantage in this segment, together with our brand in countries where we have our strengths. And in payments, same thing. The total market of payments is huge. What we're doing is we're carefully selecting in which segment, sub-segment we want to play. And clearly on the online payments industry, it's growing very rapidly. And one of our strengths there, and one of the key differentiating factor, again, is the strength of the Sage customer base. But for different reasons. It's not that they are going to upsell to payments, but it's that we've noticed in North America that when a customer has our payment solution and back office integrated from Sage, the churn rate in payments is divided by 10. And the churn rate is higher in North America than it is in the UK, but the typical churn rate in our payments business is 20% in North America. It is 2% for those customers who have a back office with Sage, because that is our competitive advantage. So long term, we think that has a huge value. In the UK, we did not focus initially on this because it's about grabbing those merchants from 10,000 to 32,000 in 3 years. That's a great success. But the long-term value, the long-term competitive advantage we have in this segment is the integration between the back office and the payments. And by the way, that is a connected service. So we've placed our investments, we've placed our bets, as we said earlier today, in industry segments that are pretty big, where the opportunities are significant. So we're pretty excited about all this. I think the team that presented to you has conveyed great enthusiasm. I'm actually delighted and very proud about that enthusiasm. But of course, if you were to believe and translate that enthusiasm into what growth rates that means, you could think, that's going to be 30% growth next year. And, in our technology world, a lot of the projects that we have, a lot of the programs we run take longer than we believe at a given point in time to produce the results that we want to have. So do not translate that enthusiasm in 30% growth for next year. That would be wrong. To close, I'd like to remind all of us, after all this enthusiasm, that the economic environment is uncertain, and that for Sage, we are moving with both confidence but also caution in how we are moving our cost base in particular, because, one quarter you believe it's great, everything is going well, like we are in North America right now, like we were in the UK 6 months ago, and all of a sudden, boom, the news come out, GDP is not growing. So the environment is uncertain, and we're developing our cost base with caution. And in addition, SMBs typically are cautious in nature, and they will invest when the time is right for them to invest. We have seen recovery. We have not seen the full expansion at this stage in time. So, great enthusiasm, but let's be cautious about our market environment. Thank you very much for your attention. We have time for questions.